Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Blake again, coming at y'all for another video. And today I got kind of I guess an important one for anybody who owns a 96 and 98 Cobra, or really a 4-valve Mustang in general, or or anybody that has a high performance car. I would say I think this is a very important modification, and I wish I would have bought this before I started the motor, like before I even put it back in the car. But I'm really glad that I put this on, because I've driven the car for about 300 miles and I already have some stuff inside of this, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about and why you need one, especially B-head Cobra guys. So if anybody's new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. This is my 1997 SVT Cobra. I don't have a hood because it flew off the car. It's a 4-inch cowl, matches the wing. Not gonna get into that topic. For any of my returning viewers, thanks for chiming in. I just wanted to show you guys again why having a catch can is so dang important, especially for these engines right here. So if anybody's new and stumbled across my channel, let me go ahead and give you guys a quick breakdown on the car. This was originally my dad's car. It is now mine. I recently built the engine for this car for a Vortec V2 Supercharger, fully forged bottom end, stock upper, stock cams, stock heads. The only thing modified was the inlet on the intake manifold with the matching throttle body, and it's 11-to-1 compression. So full bolt-ons, and currently NA on a very safe tune to break in, just to drive it around until I'm ready to install the blower. Now, why you guys need a catch can, especially if you have a B-head 96 to 98 Cobra, whether it's stock or modified or built NA or boosted or whatever. This is very, very important. So these cars in particular have a very bad PCV problem, where the upper part of the motor gets gummed up incredibly bad. And I'm referring to the IMRCs, the actuators where they open and close the valves for maximum airflow, the valves themselves, especially the secondary ports, the upper and lower intake manifold, and the ports of the cylinder heads themselves. And I will show you guys old photos of this engine when it had around 160, 175-ish thousand miles or so, when we took apart the top intake manifold to do our first deep IMRC cleaning job, when I had them working. And my dad never had a catch can on this car, ever. So from the time it was, off the showroom floor up until that point, we took the manifold off and did the cleaning. And it was so gummed up and horribly disgusting that the car definitely lost power. Because when we cleaned everything and put it back together, the seat of your pants feel inside the car, the torque difference was very noticeable. So it had to be 10 to 15 horsepower and some torque. I mean, it was crazy how inefficient this motor was acting, and it was a big nuisance. So what these catch cans do, if nobody really understands, most people do, so I'm not going to go through like a huge explanation, but basically you hook it up to your PCV system right there, your PCV valve on the back of the head, valve cover, I'm sorry, and you hook it up to a little can. And what it does is, when your motor's running, all that nasty crud and oil and vapors come out of the head, or sorry, the valve cover, travels all the way to the catch can, and then there's a little filter inside of here where it collects all the nasty gunk, and the rest of the vacuum or the air or whatever recirculates back into your intake. And if you don't have this, you just have the PCV connect to your intake, all that gunk directly goes to your intake. And I would also like to reiterate, if you guys are going to purchase a catch can, no matter what motor you have, always connect it to the PCV. Because, for instance, I had an old Mach 1. If my OG followers and subscribers remember, I had a built 03 Mach 1. I bought a catch can that connected to the passenger side valve cover, and I would check it very frequently, and there was nothing inside of it. So this side is pointless to me. This is the side that actually, and it made sense because it was connected to the intake itself, which made the most sense. So definitely invest on a driver's side catch can, specifically if anybody's going to order one. And now my Terminator guys, or Supercharged guys in general, if you have a PD blower, if you guys ever take your Eaton blower off or whatever supercharger you have, the intercooler, and I say intercooler because you forget when you got the supercharger, you have the intercooler underneath the blower. Up front, my Terminator guys, down here, people call it an intercooler, but it's actually a heat exchanger. So two different things, but definitely upgrade that. And then you have to upgrade the intercooler for more airflow. But anyway, that intercooler gets gummed up and nasty, and people clean those when they take off the blower for maintenance, porting, upgrading, whatever. And your blower will get coated with oil through excessive blow-by. That's what all that is. It's just blow-by. So definitely do your due diligence and spend the money and save yourself the hassle of gummed up motor and parts and just having to deep clean everything, and it'll be a huge hassle and a pain and frustration. I got a decent, nice one because, for one, it looks kind of cool underneath the hood, and I like, if it's going to be functional and cosmetic, I'll spend the money. This one gave me a lot of extra fittings, and the one that I ordered gave me the correct, almost the correct hose length. I did have some spare hose, and I just connected it to this adapter that they gave me. So that's how I was able to make this work. But otherwise, yeah, guys, definitely need to get a catch can. And I will show you guys in some videos and some pictures that I took. I unscrewed this and checked it. When I installed this, I drove the car for about 300 miles of just regular driving, commuted to work, drove around a few times, just enjoying the car, really. If I didn't want to drive my little beater right there. But yeah, after 300 miles of use, I already have gunk inside of that catch can, which is insane. I have about 1,500 to 2,000 miles on the motor. And when I took the manifold off to install my coolant crossover delete, because if you guys know, you got that ugly pipe that sits here, and that gets in the way of the supercharger when I mount it. So that's why I did the delete. But I had to take this off and modify my brackets and all that to make them work. And I seen my secondary valves already were gummed up slightly with carbon buildup. It wasn't terrible, but definitely noticeable. The valves were not squeaky clean. So that was a problem. My ports were fine, luckily, where the air goes down into the valves and into the combustion chamber. So that was fine, but the secondary valves were a little gummy, and I had slight oil runniness on the bottom, on the floor, I call it, of the manifold. The runners were clean, but I was definitely already experiencing some carbon-ish problems. So I went ahead and resolved it and got this. I got this specific one on American Muscle for $160. And I also did the C-head valve cover conversion. I don't have my stock B-heads. So I went ahead and I ordered the 99 to 04 catch can. I believe the only difference is the hose length that they provide you. If anyone has a 96 to 98 Cobra, they show you, if you get the PCV driver's side, people have screwed into the firewall. Or the cowl, whatever you can call it. And I was not going to do that. I love this car to death. Like I said, this is a family heirloom. So one thing I didn't want to do was create holes inside the cowl. So what I did was I found a way to bolt the bracket. And I did right there, as you see, on my power steering bracket. And you can see right here, this is where one of the old coil packs sat. So it just sits directly in the middle. And I want to take an angle grinder and trim this off and trim the other side off, make it look nicer, and be able to unscrew this without having to unbolt that. So not a big deal, but yep, that's how I set mine up. You guys can set yours any way you want. Just take your time. Very simple install. It's really, really worth buying, guys. I can't stress that enough, especially if you are into a very clean, efficient, and long-running, strong motor like I am, and like to take preventative maintenance and invest in preventative maintenance instead of the happy-go-lucky parts first. Definitely invest in one of those. But anyway, guys, real quick, you can see that my interior looking smoking. Looking good. Got the Celine pod up there. Got my seats. I had my window down, so I already got some crud in here, but seats are looking nice. You know, got the ambient floor lighting. So she's rocking, boys. We're getting there. So before I tell you guys about the Supercharger update, I'll let you know about what's going on with that. Just want to tell you guys one last time. If you're a Cobra, you know, Mach 1, just a 4-valve guy in general, whatever you have, or just a Mustang guy in general, I know for a fact the B-head Cobras need a catch can severely, but any 4-valve or really any performance car, I invest and would recommend doing a catch can. I know I didn't get sponsored. I purchased it, like I said, for about $160. Just, you know, just trying to help you guys out and show you guys the aftermath of not doing that and what it can cause to your engine if you don't go ahead and prevent it. Very simple install and will save you a lot of time, hassle, and money. So just looking out for you guys. Anywho, on to the Supercharger. I got my fuel injectors, the fuel injector connectors, my spark plugs, the piping, and my blow-off valve. So I'm pretty sure that was the last few things that I needed. So now all I'm looking forward to is I just got to figure out a day to get with somebody that I trust and really has installed these before, because I'm clueless on centrifugal builds. And unfortunately, this is a old style setup where you have to tap into the oil pan, which I'm like deathly afraid of, and I got to weld some stuff. So, you know, that's going to take a little second, but other than that, everything I think is pretty much ready to go. You know, like I said, I went ahead and got the NGK BR7 spark plugs. So they're 2 steps colder than the regular NGK TR6 plugs, and I asked my tuner why I should get those instead of TR6s, and it made sense because my compression is so high. I'm running 11-to-1, so to compensate for the heat and to kind of help with potential detonation, running 2 steps colder than just 1 step is a lot safer and definitely makes the most sense. Now, I know Terminator guys, you guys are 8.5-to-1. Stock Cobra motors, 96 and 98. I believe 99 and 01 Cobras had the same compression. Don't quote me on that, but the 96 to 98 Cobras are 9.85-to-1. I believe 99 to 01s are the same, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. But since, like I said, since I'm running noticeably higher than stock, running 2 steps colder than just 1 makes more sense. Since Terminator guys are running 8.5, that's not, the heat isn't crazy, but you do have a PD blower which compensates for heat. But anyway, 2 steps colder for my car. So fuel injectors are the 55-pound 2020 Shelby GT500 injectors. I am going to be keeping this car on pump 93. Why do you guys ask that? For a multitude of reasons. Mainly, this car for me, I love driving this car. The car itself is over like 200, probably over 205,000 miles. We drive this car. So E85 is very scarce in my area. And not to mention having to convert the car over to E85 and all that, spending all that money on the fuel system would be crazy. So for one, can't afford it. 2, scarcity of E85 in my area. And 3, just the maintenance. Like, got to keep up on the oil changes, way more strict. You got to check the fuel, you know, make sure all that's good. Like, I want to be able to put fuel in the car and drive it and have fun. So I don't care about missing 20 extra horsepower. Like, I'm cool with that. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you guys really think about or invest or agree that a catch can is definitely needed. If you have a B-head Cobra motor, guys, please do yourself a favor and get one. You will not regret it. And with that being said, guys, just keep looking out. I promise you we're going to get this build done. And the hood, eventually the guy will start on it. So, you know, hopefully I'll get my hood back. And yeah, man, we should be, we'll see what she does on 8 pounds of boost. So if you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. It would really help me out. And if anybody is curious, check out my Instagram. I post way more often on there since it's a lot easier than videos. And yeah, man, catch you guys in the next one. See ya.